We're on.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Montreal. Welcome to the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We're here today at this 4.3 kilometer long circuit. Long history in Formula One. It's been around since the 70s. I've got my co-commentator with me here today, Warren. Wazzy.
How are you, Jonathan?
What do you make of this track? Good memories, bad memories?
Good, all good. I love this place, and it's good for racing as well. And like you say, Jonathan, a rich history. You can see a few drivers.
It's actually been on the calendar since it was built in 1973, but it did miss 2 Grand Prix. It missed 2 Grand Prix. It missed one in late 80s, I think 87 or 88. And the other one was in 2009, actually, when it was dropped in favor of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and returned to the calendar the very next year. The Canadian fans had an outcry.
Yeah, they're actually
But
passionate
at least
bunch.
we got to keep Abu Dhabi.
Passionate bunch of fans here in Canada. It's always great to see. Always love coming back to this place. And this famous hairpin, Jonathan. Seen so much action down here. Springs back to mine, Robert Kubica with that massive shunt. Brings back memories.
That hairpin always brings back memories for me of lots and lots of brake dust in Canada.
Yes, indeed. Looks like we've got Pit Ballas first out. Actually, a couple of drivers ahead of him. I'll see who those are. Steffi out in track in turn 1. Looks like he'll be the first one to set a benchmark for us. Lap time wise, what do you think, Jonathan? What are you looking at? It seems dry. I think a 1.
What would your benchmark time be? I think that's the question. You're the faster driver.
If you really nail it into the high 9s, I think low 10s are pretty decent as well, depending on the weather conditions. It looks overcast, so yeah, anything low to mid 10s, maybe a bit higher than that. Should be seeing drivers more towards the front of the grid.
Watching Pit Ballas now going around that critical hairpin. It's critical to get the braking right, and it's very critical to get the acceleration right.
Just having a look at Steffi coming through the last chicane there. And he goes 1:13.6.
The laps are starting to come through.
Yeah, it's still Q1 as we do here in TnB. We run a full 100% distance with full qualifying as well. So the drivers just feeling their way around before they turn up the party mode, if you know what I'm saying, Jonathan.
Oh no, definitely. You leave that for last. Still feeling the track.
It's not a bad turnout tonight. 12 drivers tonight. We are missing a couple of guys, unfortunately, due to life happening, I suppose.
No, definitely. It's difficult to get everybody to show up every week. It is a Friday night, of course.
Yeah.
But it's good to have 12 guys here.
Robbie does a 1:12, and then Nismax follows that with a 12.7.
Just over a 10th in it at the moment, but those times will come down surely.
Yeah, no, definitely, Jonathan. Gav Pig in 3rd place in the sister Red Bull, the 13.3. Solid. I think they're just looking to get into the top 15, which we're only 12, so They should be all safe. And as I say that, Robbie puts in a 12.0. I think he's just
12
getting his
flat
eye in
opens
there.
up that margin. I think he's turned up that Merc to semi-party mode.
Yeah. Oof, touches the wall actually. It shows he is pushing a little bit.
The interesting thing about this circuit, it's actually built on a man-made island, and in Montreal it's known as, on race weekend, the loudest place in Montreal, and the rest of the year it's the quietest place in Montreal. It's actually a picnic and jogging venue, which is quite weird.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Not what you expect from a F1 circuit.
I know, I'm not exactly sure how much of the track, but most of it is public roads, and here and there they have customized it to make the circuit complete.
The track has had, since its inception, 3 or 4 layouts, if I'm not mistaken, but all very subtle. A few chicanes have been added, those chicanes have been later removed.
Yeah. I know this chicane we're looking at now, Nismex parking, has also been resurfaced so many times over the years as well. I remember I think it was in the early 2000s, in one of the free practice sessions, that they actually had to stop to resurface the hairpin there because it was lifting, but badly. And they did that all within a day, which is quite amazing.
It's amazing what these grade 1 FIA circuits are capable of,
Yeah.
but they need to be.
Yeah, definitely.
If you mess up an event like this, you could never get on this calendar again.
Oh, it looks like most of the guys are back into the pit, just regrouping a bit. Steffi's still circulating.
We have some iconic corners here at this track. It's going to be interesting over the 100% distance. Very easy to make mistakes.
Yes.
We've got the very difficult braking point off a long straight, going into the chicane, into the Wall of Champions, followed by the Senna S, which is it looks like a very easy corner, but it's actually quite tricky.
Yeah, to get it nailed and to be fast through there, it's not that easy. Yeah. Of course, Charlie also keeping a close eye on proceedings, because we do run regular corner cutting, so you'll be watching a close eye on the guys as well.
We run regular corner cutting, but Canada is one of those circuits that you can gain an advantage.
You can, yeah.
Pretty easily at some of these corners.
See if Steffi improves. He stays 7th. Does a 13.6 there. 6.36, and his best being a 6.16. So keeping pretty consistent.
Can also mention that the DW is out on circuit in the Renault.
Yes.
Hopefully has better luck than last week. Had a few issues.
Yeah, some technical issues.
We'll call them technical. We'll count them as Renault technical issues.
Yeah, maybe a gearbox or
blame the parts
failure.
crisis. Blame the Renault parts crisis.
We're having a look at him now. Coming through the back straight there. Very aggressive looking helmet. I like his helmet design.
Going into that final chicane now, critical Wall of Champions. Steers clear of it.
Very
Lots
smooth
of
through
space.
there. Does it a 14.050. Solid.
Still a lot
but
more to come.
Yeah, I think he's just sandbagging a little bit. Just getting his eye in. I won't be surprised if he's got a whole few laps of fuel on board.
Robbie's still fastest for now on that 1:12.0. But
Yeah.
Wes has gotten
Yes,
very
where's
close to that time as well as Gav. 1:12.1, 1:12.1. Nothing in
Sneaked
it.
in there. Snuck in there with his McLaren. Wonder if he's also got the upgraded nose for this weekend.
Always upgrades at Canada. It's actually one of the tracks that's well known for upgrades is Canada as well as Barcelona when they make their return to Europe.
Definitely.
So having a moment there at the Wall of Champions. Keeping the same time for now. But I think is everyone here in the top 12 safe in Q1?
It should be, yeah.
Are we going to lose one contender?
It's normally from Q2 onwards, if you're not a full grid, that you start losing people. Sometimes to go through to Q3, sometimes it's only 9 people instead of 10. So yeah,
we'll have to see what the game serves us up.
Yeah, keeps the things in the commentary box interesting.
Keeps you guessing, yeah.
You keeping an eye there on the comments, Jonathan? Seeing anything?
Yeah, have a look here. It's gonna. For now, first, second, and third still remain the same. A lot of guys sitting in the pits, feeling their times are safe. Well, the DW has improved his time. He's just done a 1:13.2 and moved up to 7th. But still not quite the pace I expected.
Yeah, just snuck on to see. I can see Radio Girl getting the popcorn and cool drinks ready.
Popcorn and cool drink. Getting ready for some entertainment.
Yeah, it's good watching a man, the judge, currently sitting in 5th place, which is good on him.
Not a bad lap time with a 1:13.2.
Definitely.
Times are pretty close so far. But we have no idea what the guys are running, what fuel loads they are running. If you feel you're safe in Q1, you might just tweak the setup and get a feel for it with a heavier fuel tank.
Oh, Gavin just starting to stretch his legs. He's doing
Nicely done. First man into the 111, so 111.9. Just letting everyone know he's here this weekend.
Yep.
And he's here to prove a point. He had to travel through Africa to get here this week.
Yes, definitely. So look at this figure on his outlap. He's preparing his tires.
Chicane is critical when starting your hot lap.
Now to get the exit, oof, takes a bit of curb there. Still looks decent enough. You've got the Salvo there. Just trying to steal a little bit of a toe.
DW has retired from the session.
I think he's feeling
But let's see if we can hear from one of the drivers in the pits regarding regarding some information on the weather. What do you see on your screens? throughout qualifying and the race. Yes, it looks like we shouldn't have any issues with tyres or weather.
Well, that's a nice change from USA last week, to be honest. A bit of
Yes,
dreadful
that was
conditions.
quite a,
Oh! Weasley just catching the wall there. I don't know if it was a little bit of lag that I saw, but he definitely made contact.
Let's see if they're losing a bit of wing on the Wall of Champions.
See, Robbie's out there.
Giving him a free Wall of Champions, giving him a free pass for now.
Just giving him a tap on the shoulder and say, "Go on, son."
Play, carry on. Later. Remember,
yeah.
I'll be here. Got Fossey coming out of the pits to do an outlap. Wants to improve on that time. Currently at 1:14.3, sitting in 11th. Should be safe. Out of the top runners, only the man in second, Robbie, he's out on he's out on track at the moment.
I'm having a look at him now. It seems like he wants that top spot, just to show the guys, listen here, I'm the main challenger.
It's all about that competitive spirit. You don't want to finish second, regardless of if it's Q1 or Q2 or Q3. You want to see your name at the top of the time sheets. It's what you want going into the race, is that confidence.
A little bit of a mental game is trying to get into Gavin's head. Definitely, just to say, listen, if you want to grab the top spot in Q3, you're going to have to get past me first.
And there's Max now also retiring from the session, feeling his time is safe.
Yeah.
I don't think we should have anyone eliminated at the end of the session, but like I say,
oh yes,
should never predict too much. Very nice. Half a second, laying down the gauntlet. That's a 1:11.4.
Yeah.
Are we going to see a 1:10 before the end of this?
Well, I don't think now, but definitely Q2. I think we will still see some lower levels.
Before the end of Q3.
Q3 will get down to business. Before the end of Q3. It seems like he's actually going on another lap just to see if he can go quicker.
Getting a bit of grass there on the outside, around the hairpin. Nice exit.
Nice exit, driving to the line.
I think one of our spectators is complaining. Not enough viewership on the judge. Apparently they need binoculars to see the man.
Oh, I can see that now.
I think the producers haven't focused enough on Haas.
Yeah,
getting the fans riled up, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll have a chat to him to see if we can get some more airtime for good old Frick. Going in 5th, so not slow. Doing well. Gee, we've got actually a couple of the drivers in the chat as well, by the looks of it.
A couple of the drivers that are missing from today. I'm going to request 6 notes from here on.
Yeah, definitely.
Sitting here in pit lane at the beginning of Q2, and immediately cars begin to come out. I see a Ferrari.
Now let's just see what
Ferrari gets on the road straight away. It's Captain Ice.
can see most of the guys on the Ultras, and then we've got Steffi and Death Seeker on the Super Softs, and then Robbie as well. So let's have a look. Being the race tire that they'll start on, I don't think they'll want to put too much strain on these tires yet.
All 12 runners are present in Q2, so there was no elimination. But we'll lose 2 drivers at the end of this session.
Yep.
It's the top 10 going through to Q3.
It just seems to me that the sun is also making an appearance. So that's good news. A little bit of extra heat, extra grip.
Clouds are floating back to the circuit of the Americas.
Oh yes. Needed, brother, needed.
Captain Ice now going over the line to start his hot lap. Going a bit tentative through the center S's.
Be the benchmark for this opening few minutes.
At least you get to see a purple lap next to your name. It feels good anyway. Something to match that helmet. Need some purple lap times to match the purple helmet.
Yeah. Back straight, heading towards the final chicane. DRS wide open. Just put some telemetry on
And
there.
that's nicely done.
The 13.0. I won't be too upset, but not ecstatic about that.
I don't think he'll be ecstatic, but I think that's good for the top 10.
Wesley
to
with
keep him
the
inside the top 10.
11.5, getting closer.
1:11.5.
Got
They could
Steffi with
have
the
put him in
13.6
second in the previous session.
on the softs.
I think Robbie had a 1:11.4.
Yeah.
So 1:11.4, still the best time on the day so far. Waiting for some big names to come out.
Let's just have a look
Gap
at
there
the
between
judge.
first and second seems too big.
See, he can put this horse of his. Getting a nice exit out onto the main straight. Puts in a 15.0. Must have made a tiny mistake somewhere.
Was that a hot lap?
Yeah. But I've got a feeling he'll go. It looks like he's going for a second one. Just want to see his second sector time if he improves. Yeah, he's definitely up by 1.3 seconds, so must have made a mistake on that first hot one of his.
It's interesting to see there that we've got Staffy. He's in 6th with a 1:13.6, but that's on super soft.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
that could already be thinking towards the race strategy.
Definitely, definite ploy. Judge coming out of the final chicane, drives towards the line. Yes, 13.1, much better. Puts him in 5th. Let's have a look where the vet on a hot lap. In the second sector.
got the judge in fifth there on the 113.1, and you'll be under a little bit of pressure to perform like you did last week.
Yeah,
It was
definitely.
a brilliant performance last week.
Yeah, first podium in TnB. Driver of
First
the day.
TnB podium.
Driver of the
So
day
it'll
as
be
well.
interesting to see what happens in the race. So far so good. Starting in sixth, he's gone down to sixth. Captain Ice has bettered that with a 113.0.
The vet coming across the lines. Sticks it in third with the 11.9. We'll be
Good
content with
lap
that.
time, a 111.9. Seems like everyone is going to do their lap on a ultra soft at the moment.
Yeah. So we've got the
Steffi has
usual
come in
sub.
and he's left on the ultra soft, so I don't think he's particularly comfortable with that time.
Yeah, I see Robbie's still in the pits. So he's also still looking what the guys are up to.
We still have Robbie sitting there. He hasn't set a time. Surely he's gonna make quite an impact there on the top three.
Let's just see who's on the cusp. Fossey in 10th. And we've got Death Seeker in 11th, trying to improve his time on the super soft. Doesn't improve there. It looks like he's battling with that tire a little bit. Also doesn't
Steffi
want
is out
to
on track now.
put too
Just
much
started the
strain on those
fastest lap
tires.
on the ultra softs.
Oh dear, we've got Fossey without fuel.
Oh, that's never a good sign. This track becomes a very long drive when you don't have fuel.
Oh yes. We'll just blame that one on Jeff for not putting enough fuel in the vehicle. But yeah.
We'll blame it on Jeff's special calculator.
Yeah. I hear he formulates his strategies on paper with crayons, but that's still to
But
be confirmed.
they had to take the batteries away. He was getting up to no good.
Anyway, we've got the top guys in the pits.
Dead Seeker now going around the final chicane onto the main straight. Currently in 11th. Activates DRS. Over the line. Moves him up to 10th for now. 113.5. So safe for now.
Safe for
But
now.
Robbie's still in 12th. He hasn't set a time. So 10th isn't safe.
No, definitely not. We've got Staffy also jumped onto the super softs, pumped in a 112.9, and he's actually
Improving
going for a
his time
second
now.
run now. Looks like. Just having a look at him
Everybody
now.
improving their times. Judge actually been pushed down now from 5th to 9th in a very short period of time. So the times are close. We've got Dead Seeker in 10th place. He actually set that lap time on super soft tires, so I'm sure he's got more in him.
Yeah,
Probably
definitely.
just go in and put on a set of ultras and go improve that time.
Yeah, Staffy retiring now. He's thinking that he's safe there.
Everyone in the pits right now, except for Captain Ice, the only man on track, currently sitting in 8th, 113.0.
A good mention, Jonathan, is Springbok Gamer.
Also doing a good job in 7th place. We know he races this with no assists.
Yeah,
Which is,
that current time
Canada's
is
a difficult track for that, and so that's an impressive time.
That current time that he set was on the super softs. He's actually just fitted the ultras just in case he needs to go out again. He's got the
Captain Nice
judge
around the
out.
final chicane now, activates DRS. And he's starting a hot lap, it seems.
He's got the judge also out trying to improve.
On that main straight now.
Does a 13.1. Does improve, but not position-wise.
Improves in time, but not in position. Not enough. It's a difficult track to find the right balance. The car's got to feel comfortable, but you can't bog it down with downforce because there's just too much straights on this track. So it's a difficult track to find the right balance, and I've found that different drivers set up their cars in very different ways. You've got to be comfortable on this circuit, otherwise you lose a lot of time.
Yeah, true.
Currently watching Judge now going up into the final chicane. It's a little bit of curb. Doesn't activate DRS this time.
Yeah, I'm seeing that as well.
Strange, is that a DRS failure or you just give up on the lap?
Robbie really cutting it close. Time-wise to set a lap.
You don't want to mess up your one and only flying lap and start from the back in Canada.
Yes.
Leading into the center S's, I don't think that's where you want to be.
I wonder
Maybe
if
it's a better thing to be at the back.
No, as we talk about it, he's actually on track.
He's on circuit now, he goes around and gets a bit of oversteer, misses the Wall of Champions. That was a close call, the closest one I've seen so far. And he puts it in fourth on a set of super soft.
Yeah, that's quick, that's quick.
Nicely done. That's just half a second off the pace on a tyre that's what, a second slower?
Yes. Just going on board with him now to see if he's still pushing. He's got some traffic in front of him. His teammate getting out of the way. But it looks like that cost him a little bit of time.
Saw a bit of oversteer coming out of the chicane there. Might have just been put off a little bit.
No.
Even if the guy does get out of the way, he can still put you off.
Still pushing.
Seems like most of the drivers are happy with their times. They're firing in their droves. Pushing now in the DRS zone.
He's in the
but no, comes into the pits, was just giving us a show.
Yeah. Let's just see what Captain Ice on the outlap, yeah. The judge in 10th place. So right on the cusp there. So the only one that can push him down is that Seeker, that is currently on track.
This Fossi has left has retired from the session. So
not a happy camper.
would be the only one going over the line now, and he's done that. He's gone 8th. Nicely done, a 112.946. That pushes Judge down to 11th.
Oh, interesting.
And that means he's going to miss Q3.
Oh, well done. That Sticker just leaving it to the last seconds.
Shows you how quickly things can change.
Yeah.
Terrible race in the wet, you finish on a podium, and in Canada you don't make Q3.
Yeah.
Times are close, and small error can send you to the back of the grid.
That's it, Jonathan. If you like you mentioned, balance. If you don't get the balance right of the car and you're not comfortable, yeah, it can be a tough day at the office.
We've got the other horse on tracks, Springbok Gamer, making a last ditch to improve. And he locks up heavily going into the hairpin. Currently in 9th.
Should be safe. But yeah, he chooses to complete the lap.
And
Oof. Gets it a bit wrong in the final corner there.
And that's it. We have 2 drivers eliminated. We'll see him the judge. Final 10, we'll head to Q3.
Yeah. Now at the business end, Jonathan. I'm pretty sure we'll see the guys
Interesting
touching
that
the
gap
10th.
from 1st to 10th. Just 1.5 seconds in basically the entire field. That is impressive.
Yeah.
Very close times between the top 4. And Robbie on the super soft, which means he's going to start the race on the super soft.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Fastest lap in Q2, that's going to be your race tyre.
Yeah, normally tyre wear around Canada is not that bad, so the one stop is definitely on with the softer tyres. So he's just obviously choosing to be a little bit quicker at the end of the race.
Now we're going into Q3. It's going to be 12 minutes for 10 cars to go out and get their fastest lap.
No.
I don't think you want to start in the middle of this group.
No.
This track is quite infamous at that first corner for first corner incidents. So you're going to want to be on those top grid slots. But Gavin out first on track. As the guys start heading out to make their initial times.
Yeah. Just trying to suss out who's where on the track. Looks like Pick Ballas is out first, then followed by TnB Wes, and then Death Seeker not far behind.
No lap time set as of yet. Everyone's still on and out lap. Guys now starting their fast laps.
Yeah. We've got
Ooh, Gavin getting close to the wall of champions.
he likes
that
it
rear
close.
tyre got very close to the wall of champions. Way too close. But that just shows he's pushing and using all of the track as he should.
Yep.
If you're not getting close to the barriers and not taking all the curb you can, you're not pushing the limit.
Yeah. And just keeping an eye on Wesley. He had a decent run through the first sector, but he made a mistake at the second chicane there. Got on the grass a little bit and got a poor exit, so we'll probably be looking to do another run on this set of tires.
It's a track that looks pretty simplistic on paper, but it's really unforgiving. You can get a terrible lap time, and it can be from just touching a bit of grass.
Yeah. Oof, taking a lot of curb there. I wonder if it's not these first set of ultras from Q1 that he's just trying to put a banker on. Those are 13.0.
First set of laps now starting to come through.
Oh yes.
And Gav goes through in a 111.6.
I can see that, yeah.
That's a good banker.
Not bad. So if I look down the field, who's doing what?
A 1:11.7 for Robbie, so just a tenth of a second between the top two.
The vet next up on the back straight.
Excuse me, not a tenth, 100. Picked in third, 112.2. Deck Seeker fourth, 112.7.
The vet sticks
And there's
on
nicely
third
done.
place.
112.1 for now for the Renault driver.
Yeah, I think he's still got some time in the bag. Robbie
Definitely, obviously waiting for that final run. Put on a brand new set of ultras and just give it everything.
Yeah. Like I like to do to set the banker in the
It's a
first
good
run
lap
is
by
to...
Wes. That's a 111.4. And Gavin betters it with a 111.2. The lap times are coming in quick. And they're shrinking. We're getting closer to those 110s. Who's going to break the 110? It's going to be Mercedes.
Yeah, Nismax opting to stay in the pits. This is quite interesting. So just doing the one run there.
Or is Reynolds going to pop it into the 110s?
Steffi doing a good job sitting in P7 at the moment. Together with Death Seeker as well, finding a bit of pace.
Still haven't seen a lap time from Nismax. We know he's one of the top contenders for this race. He's been quick.
Yeah, he's biding his time definitely. With Death Seeker flirting with the wall of champions there, taking a bit of curb.
Not a corner that gives you second chances very often, so if you get a chance in qualifying, don't go near it in the race.
Springbok game now. Driving towards the line. Betters his time, but remains in 9th place.
113.6. It's good for 9th at this point. Still waiting for Nismax, hiding out in the pits there. Don't know what he's up to.
Well, let me just have a look here, Jonathan. Maybe he's listening to us.
Could be getting a debriefing from Jeff.
Yeah, crayons and all.
They'll have to give him the whiteboard markers. It's the easiest thing to get off. But Captain Ice just coming out of the pits now to go for a second run. Gonna use this installation lap to get some heat into those tyres so you can make the most of it. Getting a bit of grass there, that's not what you want to do.
Steffi retiring from the session. Just retiring.
Obviously happy with his time.
Thought he binned it for a second. Well, just a shout out to everybody watching. Thanks for joining us. Oh yes, definitely, Jonathan. We've got Nismax chatting in the group saying he's waiting for his beer. That is the problem.
Oh, I see. There we go. That's not recommended.
Yeah, Kimmy's got ice creams. Nismax has got beers. That's how it is.
What does the Heineken advertisement say at the Formula One? When you drink? I can't remember.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I can't remember. If you never remember it, if you don't remember it, then it never really took place.
We've got Robbie and the vet on out laps, so we will follow them through.
2 fast drivers on outlets could change that what that top 4 looks like.
Definitely. No doubt.
And obviously we've still got Nuzmak sitting in the pits.
Yeah, he'll sneak his head out there. I know that doesn't take him too long to finish that pair of his.
100% race distance around Canada. How many laps are we looking at, give or take?
68 somewhere-ish, I think.
It's a difficult race.
Just following Robbie through the first sector. So have a look. The vet just entering turn 1 now. See Robbie through that second chicane. Does it nice and smooth. Let's see if the vet does the same. The vet a little bit down from his time there. But definitely time for another run.
We've got now the top 3. It's about half a second in it. Oof. Just losing the back end there a little bit.
He's using the whole track,
and that's a nice lap. That's a 1:11.2. That's the best lap we've seen so far today out of all the sessions.
So have a look at the vet. The vet coming
beats his 1:11.4 from Q3, from Q1.
The vet just missing out on his previous best. Let's go on board with him. He's still pushing, so definitely doing another run. Nice and smooth through the first chicane. Oof, a little bit of oversteer there. The other thing I noticed from driving this track, Jonathan, especially, the tires last long, but they go off quite soon, so you lose pace quite early on.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've noticed that as well. They last long, but when they go, they go.
Yeah.
And that window that you usually have, that you sort of should pit, but you can stay out, you can manage it. In Canada, that window is just a lot smaller, and the tires become unmanageable very quickly.
Well, Nuzmak is finally on circuit. Goes fourth with his first run. On his second one now.
Obviously trying to make a last one who gets to the party is the coolest.
He's quicker, but it's not purple.
Those top 4 now, all in the 1:11s.
Oof,
Reynolds just pulling off to the side of the track, retiring for the session. Obviously happy with 5th place.
Oh, that was 11-1.
The 1:11.55.
Yeah, he took quite a lot of curve there in the last
And look at that.
So.
Oh. Robbie comes back with 1:11.0. Nicely done. Pushing to the very end of the session.
We've got Gavin still out on track. Coming up to the hairpin. He's 0.016 down. So you can definitely still improve. Just keep an eye on him, yeah, going on the back straight. The Salva
come up to this very important chicane.
Ooh, takes a bit of curve, pushes him out wide, but it looks alright. Dish driving towards the line. Does it improves, but not enough.
Second, but look at that. Look at the gap. Look at the gap between the top 3.
Oh, very
Just a
close.
tenth of a second between the top three drivers.
So again, Jonathan, it's the Mercedes from the two Red Bulls. Robbie doing a good job there. 0.048 and 0.064.
Very nicely done between the top three. That's impressive.
The top four
That's six
covered
hundredths of
by
a second.
within 4 tenths. That is impressive, yes. We're in for a
Top
race,
three
Jonathan.
is six hundredths of a second. That's impressive.
We're
Got
definitely
some
in for a
fast
race.
drivers in this league. And actually many more that aren't here today.
Yeah. Well, here we are, Jonathan, at the start, waiting for the drivers to select their strategies. You can see a little bit of clouds around, but like the vet mentioned, doesn't seem to be any rain forecasted, which is good news, I have to say.
Hopefully the formation lap happens where it should. had some issues.
Yeah, I'll rather not comment on that. My cat-like reactions. Anyway,
My co-commentator was left on the grid yesterday, waiting for the green lights.
Yeah. Oh no, we're going straight to the race, Jonathan. No, it is the formation lap. I had a heart
We
attack.
can give you a rundown while we're in the formation lap. Starting from first, we've got Robbie in the Merc. In second, we've got the first of the two Red Bulls, got Nizmaps. In third, we've got another one of the Red Bulls. So
no,
everybody's getting jumbled up. It's a little bit difficult.
I can't. Where's
Everybody's getting jumbled up and mixing positions.
Yeah, I can see that. But where's Gavin? I don't see Gavin.
Seems well we had 12 runners. I only see 11.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't mean
if he did
we're missing a
disconnect,
driver from the beginning, but that's how it seems.
Let's hope he can get back into his car.
Not what you want to see just before the beginning of a race. After you've put in the practice and built up the hype, and then that happens, and it's pretty deflating.
It is, and it looks like it's always one unlucky driver that will, one or two. Last week it was the vet. I can see a little bit of lag
The vet will know that feeling well from last week.
From TnB where he's lagging a tiny bit.
But now the car is just starting to reform on the grid.
Let's hope they make it through turn one safely, Jonathan.
CNS is always interesting.
Everybody forming up.
It's the final cars lining up now. Seems like 11 cars lining up on the grid. So in fact we are missing Gav, which is obviously disappointing.
That's a shame. Anyway, Jonathan,
wait
here
for
we
the
go.
lights.
5 lights.
5 red lights.
And
here we go.
And we've got
Nizmax there in the Red Bull, heading into the first corner. Actually pinches the lead there, very nicely done. Seems like a clean start for everybody.
Yeah, I saw some carbon fiber at the back, towards the back. Have a look just now, but let's focus on the top 3 because the vet is stalking Robbie. Robbie, of course, on the super softs, and everybody behind him on the ultra, so they'll have that initial grip.
I wonder if that made the difference off the line.
I'm pretty sure.
Just that extra grip, that extra acceleration.
But good to see everybody getting through it nice and clean.
As we stand, the top 3 are 3 different manufacturers. In fact, the top 4 are 4 different manufacturers. It's always good to see. Who's in fifth? Is that a Toro Rosso?
The big loser there being TnB Wes, falling 6 positions. We've got Pete Ballas having a run at the vet. coming onto the inside. No, the side's against it. I think it's a wise move there.
Completed the first lap. See Nismax going purple because he's the leader on the first lap. I was just coming over to complete their first lap, and you were right. It's actually 70 laps.
Yeah.
So, quite a race distance.
Yeah, it's a quick lap as well, and it's not the longest track in the world. So yeah. I thought it would have been like 68-ish, 70, somewhere there.
If I remember correctly, when we had the South African Grand Prix in the early 90s, Kyalami was a particularly short track for the time. So I think it was something like 82 laps. It was insane.
To be honest, Robbie not falling back from this Max, keeping him honest on those harder tires.
He's staying within that important 1 second gap before lap 3 when DRS becomes available, and then maybe he can simply tow himself around and just keep that gap to Nismax within a second. And
put on the fastest lap.
It will actually nullify the effect of the super softs if he's being towed around by a faster car.
Yeah.
Just got to keep it clean.
Oh, we've got the top two battling, and then we've got a battle for third place. Big Ballas hanging onto the vet there. As some people refers to him to DW as Darkwing. It's actually the vet. The law if you translate it directly.
I still go with Darkwing. And as I say that, his purple ultra softs appear on my screen, so that just proves a point.
Yes.
It was the camera angle that is so useless. You can just about see the suspension and the tire, but it had to show me that yellow wall tire for some reason at that stage. So he's definitely Darkwing. We've got Pit Ballas in fourth, still hanging on, but the gap is now starting to. We've got a speeding in the pit lane, 5 second stop go penalty.
Captain Ice, let's have a look. Oh, it's a wing change. I thought I saw some carbon fiber in the first corner there in the start. Must have been the Ferrari.
That's just gonna make his pit stop even worse.
No,
now, did he serve the 5 second penalty, or will he serve it on his next pit stop?
I'm not sure. I didn't catch that. I was in there too late. When I got in, he was already changing his wing. Still a long, long way to go.
In 11.
He needs
but it's
to
only
keep
lap
his
4.
head down.
He just needs to keep motivated. It's easy to lose motivation after a wing change early on in a race, but...
We've got the judge in 10th, doing well.
In the final points paying position.
We've got Fossey in 9th place, Wes in 8th. Fighting his way back up. I don't know from the start. Let's just go on board to see. It doesn't look like he's got damage. Having a run on Springbok Gamer. He's got massive. Oh, he's got the DRS going there in that McLaren. Just streaking past the horse. Oof, cuts the corner slightly. That will be no doubt a warning for him there.
But scratched the chicane quite heavily there. He actually missed the yellow stripping that tells you you've gone too far.
Yep. He's got his wife watching all the way from the UK, supporting him in the group, I can see, which is always nice to see.
Well, he's the most famous driver in the league, then he's got international support.
Yeah, definitely. Works in media as well, just to top that off, Jonathan.
I think she should be the one in the commentary box then, giving us some pointers.
Probably she's sitting there having a giggle at us two idiots, but anyway.
Not too bad for the
Nah.
second time round.
Yeah, definitely a couple of guys from the East End not doing a bad job.
Back to the top four, positions aren't changed. That gap between third and fourth just extending a little bit, but the gap between first and second, importantly, staying between 6 and 7 tenths.
Just had a look at Robbie. He had an oversteer moment in out of turn 2. Almost lost it.
Lost a lot of time, lost almost a second.
Yeah, but nice save to be fair.
Also
Pushing hard
together
to
at
keep
the
up.
end, but crucially now he's out of that DRS zone and Nizmax keeps it clean. He should be able.
I think Robbie will opt to just back off a little bit, get out of the dirty air and just manage his tyres. Because they'll be cooking sitting behind that Red Bull all the time.
And definitely the car takes a lot of abuse when you drive too close behind for too long. Going to the back of the field, we've got Captain Ice recovering after that wing change. He's catching up to Wes in 10th quickly. Seems like Wes is having an issue of some sort as he's ghosting around the circuit.
Yeah, he's ghosting. I think he's got
So Captain Ice comes through in the hairpin to take that position, and he'll go back into the top 10.
I think he's got some
And
connection
hopefully
issues.
Wes can get that sorted out and he can get back behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Don't know what the problem is there.
Yep. Next up for
Nizmax still leads 1.7 seconds. The gap now growing quickly. 1.8 as I said that. That's still sitting in third, keeping it clean.
Yeah, no, he's well experienced, DW. Showing his experience here now. But not a regular. Not too familiar with how many or how often he races. Doing well pace-wise, but you know, the vet just stretching that gap now. Just
I'm actually not entirely sure if I've seen him in a 100% distance yet.
To be fair, me neither.
I don't think he's attended in season 3. I think this is his first appearance in season 3. I might be mistaken. Excuse me if I am, but I think that's right.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he'll attend more races. It's good to have him.
Well, it's good to have him, and I hope he attends more races. He's holding the pace nicely there in 4th. Hasn't really made any mistakes. And considering the 3 drivers ahead of him, he's actually doing pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. This is the shame we lost Gav, because I think he would have been the more attacking driver in this group of 3.
Just getting a message here from here in the UK. She's declined to help us with commentary. She says she's off duty, so we're on our own.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We're gonna have to figure this one out on our own. On lap 8 now.
Let's have a look at Nizmax. Just go on board with him. See how he's. Very smooth driving style he's got.
Was he now? What about the drivers on the ultra softs, and what about the drivers on the super softs? What kind of prediction window would you give for a lap? What lap would they stop on? Give or take.
Ultras will be looking anywhere between 18 and 25 laps. Supers.
So even the ultras are going to go quite deep.
Yeah, they'll go quite deep, but we'll have a look on his sector times now actually to see. They go off. At the moment it's not bad. He's 2/10 off his quickest, but without you really noticing and managing, you'll lose a second a lap from your quickest if you don't monitor it.
Robbie now still in second, importantly on those super soft tires, and that gap is now it's beginning to grow. 3.2 seconds now, so we have a position change in fourth. Staffy's taken fourth. Pitt had a bit of an off just before the hairpin, found himself on the grass.
I can see actually he's got some wing damage as well. Yes,
making his first real mistake of the race, and
deciding to pit.
It's cost him.
Deciding to pit, he's got definite damage on that car. It must have been maybe an oversteer moment at the hairpin possibly, or maybe the second chicane.
Because as you approach that hairpin, you come out of quite a quick chicane, and to get a good lap time, you need to come out of that chicane quickly and aggressively, and it's easy to just get a bit of snapback and just lose it.
Death Seeker also pitting, so also getting a nose change. I wonder if they didn't make contact, possibly. Well, we'll monitor that one.
Unfortunately, when I tuned in to his screen, I just saw him on the grass in the middle of the hairpin by himself, and Staffy was quite a ways down the road, but he managed to get around.
Death Seeker with the tire glitch, he's got two super softs in front and two softs at the rear, so that obviously
well,
it's super
either
softs.
A glitch or he drives for it's a glitch or he drives for Williams.
It looks pretty spectacular if you're not used to the view. It looks quite funky, but yeah, it's obviously super softs on that car. Doing well, keeping in the points. Just needs to keep his head down. We'll be handing the midfield pack there when they stop.
It's actually still a recent newish rule about the tires cannot be mixed. In the early 2000s, some cars used to start with scrubbed front and new rears.
Oh yes.
But
no.
that's not allowed anymore. So
yeah, it's not even.
Hopefully it wasn't a Williams mechanic, and it was just a glitch.
Yeah, not even age-wise, Jonathan. It's the actual set that you get permitted. That set of 4 tires are marked as one set, so you can't mix other super softs with other super softs, if you know what I'm saying. It is the exact tires.
A lot's changed. I mean, back then people basically had a limitless supply of tires, and now things are very much more restricted.
Yeah.
Obviously for cost purposes.
Yeah, but I
mean, certain cars actually used to bring out specific motors for specific circuits, and now we've got the 3 for the year.
Yeah, but I enjoy the tire situation we got now, so
I do enjoy it. I'm actually excited to see the debut of the Hypersoft.
Oh yes, me too.
If that's what it's called. I think that's what it's called.
Hypersofts, and then obviously on the other end of the spectrum we've got the super hards, like Daniel Ricciardo refers to with a big smile on his face when he says it. Super hard.
Daniel Ricciardo, quite a character in the F1 circles.
Yeah, he's a good lad,
Robbie's just gone around and set the fastest lap on a set of super softs. That's very nicely done.
I think those supers are coming into range now, and the ultras will be obviously on their way out.
The ultras now starting to drop off, losing their advantage, and Robbie coming back into this race. We saw the gap extend from half a second up to just under 4, and now it's back to 2.3. So definitely an effect happening there, either on the tires or Nismak's made a mistake.
Nah, I think it's genuine pace. If you can see the gap to the vet behind him also growing a tiny bit, up to 6.3 seconds, and it was in the 4s. So yeah, Robbie engaging party mode there. talking about party mode, let's have a look fuel load wise.
We've had a bit of a collision at the back.
Let's have a look, go back there.
I think I saw a Mercedes. It's obviously not Robbie, so it has to be Force.
It's
I saw a Mercedes facing the wrong way briefly. He seems to have gotten back on track.
No.
But
that promotes the judge.
I saw it
up into
briefly
sixth
while I was
place.
flicking through, and when I got back it was over. But if I'm not mistaken, it was a Merc facing the wrong way, and it affected the race of a Williams. So Williams almost bumped into him.
Definitely. The judge and Captain Ice having a battle, and they made their way past that little incident you're talking about. So promotes them to 6th and 7th.
The Haas is having a good showing today, 5th and 6th.
Pit Ballas second wing change. Looks like Salvas are going to, you know, I hope they packed enough front wings by the looks of things.
Might have to go borrow some from Haas. They all come from the same place anyway.
No.
Maranello.
He's going on to the
So the
softs.
top three, still close together, still within the pit window of each other. Just 7.5 seconds between the top three. And Staffy's still there in 4th.
Yeah, Staffy doing a good job. Very underrated driver.
He's keeping that Williams in a straight line, keeping the front nose clean,
Yeah.
and just doing a good job and getting a good points position. And long way to go, but you just wanna hold that, and you never know what could happen in the top three. You might still find yourself on the podium.
Definitely. Definitely.
And he's got quite a buffer back to 5th place, 16 seconds. So he's comfortable at the moment. But he's actually in a 16 seconds bubble.
Yeah.
16 seconds to the car ahead and 16 seconds to the car behind. The gap at the top continues to come down, just 1.5 seconds now.
Starting to lap as well.
Well, Robbie's going to have to catch Nizmax and pass him if he's going to want to make the most out of those tyres, because if he's going to sit behind someone on ultras, it's not going to get the full extent out of those super softs. He needs to catch and get past and make the most out of the gap.
Yeah.
Strategy.
Robbie's still lapping in the mid 15s. Strong pace.
1.6.
Getting a kick off oversteer there. Like I've seen in the previous race in America in the wet, he's got very good car control.
Got the judge just coming into the pits now. Seems like a routine stop.
You know, he's got a bit of a penalty.
He's serving a penalty. You saw him sitting there for a while. And he went from ultras to ultras, so keeping the same set, same kind of tires for now.
Yeah. Going
Maybe gonna do a two-stopper and finish on the supers.
A little bit earlier than I expected. I was expecting anything from 18 onwards, but yeah, must have.
Robbie goes through and sets the fastest lap on lap 17. So those super softs have found their window now.
Yes, definitely.
And you can see the gaps come down again. It's 1.1. So getting very close to that dangerous DRS.
Yeah. And as we're talking about super softs, Captain Ice with that fresh set of super softs starting to catch Springbok game as well quite rapidly by the looks of it.
We've actually got, just noticed on screen, we've actually got Pit Ballas in 8th And he's the only man on track on a set of softs.
Yeah,
So trying something different.
obviously after that second stop there for a wing, he decided he's going to try stretch it to the end now.
Just go to the end and hopefully you don't have to look at your mechanics for the remainder of the race. Well, that's the plan anyway.
Interesting to see when this Max pulls into the pits. He's keeping an eye on his sector times here. Coming past sector 1 now. Only 10th down on his best, so not bad. I think it's just Robbie picking up pace more than anything else.
Still going around now. Another thing that's impressive about this race is at this stage we've still got all the runners that started. Obviously we lost Gav before the race started, but the 11 that started, they're still all on track, which is it's great to see. Because even if you're at the back and you're still going around, it just shows commitment to the race, and that you're here because you enjoy it.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Regardless of what happens.
Robbie within that 1 second now.
Just 0.8 of a second now. He's in that DRS zone. And this is when you can start putting pressure on Nismax, but it's getting to that window where Nismax should probably come in.
Yeah, I bet he's thinking about it. It's not that he's slow off his best. It's just fuel levels going down and Robbie picking up pace more than anything else. So he's thinking about it.
I think it really comes down to his tires. I think he's still racing well. I just think that the ultra softs are obviously now starting to
get the ascendancy.
Lap 19.
Getting the ascendancy, definitely.
We don't know how many. We also don't know how many sets of tires he used and how many laps he did in Q2.
That's the thing I'm thinking about now, because in
if it took
Q2
2 runs, then those tires could be very tired.
Q3, he only did. He came out once and he did two laps on them. So we also don't know what strategy he's on. So maybe he's trying to pull the one stopper and going deep on his ultra soft. So bearing that in mind,
that could mix up the results very much, and that means Robbie needs to get past and make a very big gap. Well, he needs to make a pit stop gap. He needs to make about 25 seconds.
Well,
and,
Robbie is definitely...
if that's the case, but right now we don't really know what Nismax's strategy is.
Yeah, Robbie is definitely on the one stop, I think. Nismax, he's the question mark. If he pulls a one, it's not impossible to pull the one stopper from here, but that means he'll probably have to go on the soft, which is the slower tire around here. Robbie will have the option either softs or ultras, depending on how deep
it's really it's really a fine balance that comes down to consistency. You can have the perfect strategy, but you need to put in those constant laps in order for any of those sums to make sense.
Yeah.
You can make it work on paper, but you've got to get it right on track, otherwise the result is not going to be the one you want.
Definitely. And
half a second now, that gap really closed up in the second DRS zone. It's going to be difficult to keep him there at the next time they get to the hairpin.
Yeah, I think that back straight's going to hurt Nismax getting the traction out of the hairpin there. I'm also just thinking, Jonathan, another man that's strong in his tires is DW. Don't count this guy out. He's
sitting back in third, 13 seconds adrift, but also no idea what the strategy is there, and could be sitting back, saving tires, and maybe, like you say, stretching for the one stop.
I've seen that man do a one stop in Belgium, stretching his tires well into the 90%, keeping them alive somehow. Very good with tires.
Well, Vettel proved anything is possible with tires.
Robbie gaining on the straights, but he's suffering in the corners, it looks like, in the dirty air.
Either that or he's gone for a low wing setup, which allows him to gain a lot of momentum on the straights, but on the corners he just not keeping the lines as clean.
The Merc squirming for traction out of the second corner there.
It seems like he's losing the most time in the second sector. Seems like that third sector he makes up a lot of ground, and at the end of the DRS he's almost there, and then he gets to sector 2 and just loses time again.
Yeah, it's that little kick of oversteer out of both chicanes, this one and the previous one. Just have a look. That little kick of oversteer just costing him that momentum.
Could really just come down to either a certain driver style, or it could just be something in the setup that's causing that Merc to not be as comfortable.
Captain Ice I see moving up. Yeah, I just got past the judge there. But the judge hanging on. Doesn't want to give this one up easily.
And Nismax into the pits.
Oh.
Nismax comes into the pits. It's a good pit stop.
Lap 23.
Seems like everything went smoothly, and he's onto a set of super softs.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how far Robbie can go on the supers, and I think
that goes through into third. It's complicated with this pit exit, but yes, the vet goes through into second. Nismax third, comes out just behind second place.
Right out of the box, Jonathan, I think Nismax is on the 2-stop. The vet is going to push for the 1-stop. I've just got that feeling. So for Nismax to be stuck behind the vet, it's not good news for him.
You know, this is unfair if you have inside information from the driver. How do you know his pit stops?
Nah, I know him very well. I know him very well. And if somebody can do the 1-stop on the ultras or supers, it will be the vet. Nismax has got a run on him here now. Out of the hip, and he will have DRS. So let's see.
Well, from what I can see from the starters, he's really stretching those ultra softs.
Renault not slow in a straight line, tell you that much. Wonder if Slipstream it's maybe glitched out with Gavin leaving. Unfortunately, it looks like that way.
First and second, Robbie and the vet, both still waiting to make their first pit stops. Staffy, no pit stops. Springbok Gamer and TnB Wes all need to still make pit stops. Pit Ballas has spent the most time in the pits. He's had 2 pit stops. So the field's still just sorting themselves out. Waiting to see what the final effect is of all these stops.
The vet doing a super job defending.
It's going to be interesting now to see how far Robbie is going to take these tyres and how far into the race he's going to stretch it.
Oh, Nismax getting a little bit anxious. You can see by the body language of that Red Bull now.
He knows he needs to get through. He knows he needs to get through.
Oh, the vet keeping
Vet comes
him
back. There's a little bit of contact.
Oh,
I don't think there's damage there. I did see something along the track, but
yeah,
they seem to be both
The grip of the new tires just outgunning the vet there. Ooh, he's got
I
a,
think Nismax just knew he needed to get past because Robbie, it's 17 seconds already.
yeah,
It was the gap we were talking about, 25 seconds.
yeah. I think
Halfway there.
20 might even be enough. Because obviously the pit entry being
No, even
straight.
some of the circuits you come out and it's 18 or 19 seconds. So, you know, depending on the pit exit and the pit entry and all of that, I just usually say 25 because it covers most of the circuits.
Yeah.
Unless you get a circuit like Abu Dhabi that has a terrible pit exit.
Tunnels and the works, yeah. Robbie's into the pits, comes out, him and Nismax is side by side. Coming through the first chicane, Nismax keeping first position there.
Nismax takes the lead there. And he keeps it. I was waiting for him to run wide. I think Robbie was waiting to snack back, but held the car in position nicely. Actually got a great helicopter view of that.
Yeah, that Nismax obviously had an undercut as well going, and that's been nullified now. Ooh, Robbie's ghosting.
And you see how crucial that pass on the vet was. If he hadn't passed the vet at that corner, he would have lost further time, and he would have come out further behind Robbie.
Definitely.
So that pass was crucial. That's why he was getting quite itchy.
Definitely. Oh, another 20 laps on 14. I don't think these gentlemen is on the one stopper. Well, not Nismax and Robbie though. They're gonna have to stop again.
The vet's still going around in third. No pit stops as of yet. Staffy actually in fourth. It's 22 seconds adrift of this, but he hasn't made any pit stops either. So also on a different strategy. Only other man not to make a pit stop is Springbok Gamer, the first of the two horse drivers in 7th place. Still a long way to go. Not at half distance yet. So a lot can happen. Still got all 11 runners from the beginning of the race, which is good to see.
Yeah, definitely.
And we've got a battle at the front.
Yeah. Yeah, Robbie Harding, he's pushing, he wants to get past. Sets the fastest lap, goes 14.8.
It's interesting now, it's a crucial part of the race. They're both on the same set of tyres and they're matching each other for pace.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you want to see in every race, but now they're approaching a bit of traffic, it seems. They're approaching a Toro Rosso.
That must be dead steep, huh? On the
Hopefully it doesn't influence this battle. Really getting close there into the chicane.
The two horse boys.
Into the hairpin.
Also
getting awfully close.
Looks like.
Going through the ghost of Wes. Disappointing that he's ghosting around the circuit. Had a really good qualifying session. Looked quick.
Yeah. Robbie really on the tail of Nismax now. I wonder if he's gonna do a dive bomb in the first corner.
Got DRS open.
Goes for it. Nismax keeps it on the outside, inside for T2. Gets the
nicely
traction
done. Gets the better exit. And just keeps it for now. But
Good clean racing from the
Robbie's
gents here.
awfully close, and he's just waiting for that DRS section to come back again.
The vet will be hoping these two goes at it hammer and tongs so he doesn't fall away too far.
The longer they battle, the better it is for him. If he's in clean air, he can close this gap.
Now I think he'll just want to stick close within 10 seconds because he's definitely on the one stop. I think he's entering that territory where he can definitely go on the supers or the softs. Good on Death Seeker, just letting the two front runners past. Very well done.
Just having a look here on the group comments. Seems like Wes had internet issues at the beginning of the race.
No.
A lot of angry emojis.
Yeah, it's a shame. Unfortunately, in South Africa, internet everywhere isn't brilliant. So it's unfortunate to lose him, a driver of his caliber, to something silly like that. It's really unfortunate.
That was the luck. That was the luck the vet had last week. He's in third. Gap's up to 7.5 seconds now, so the gap is getting bigger. But you must remember he's stretching a set of ultras. Has he not made a pit stop?
No. Not yet.
That's right, no pit stop. And Springbok Gamer as well, yet to make a pit stop.
Oh, I'm just cutting back
Both
to
of them
because
stretching,
the loss...
both of them stretching a set of ultra softs.
No,
So they obviously have the same idea.
but Pit Palace gaining on the judge. Should get interesting pretty quickly.
So the Selber now closing in on the horse. Should have DRS.
Should have, yeah.
Does he have DRS?
Yes, he does.
There we go, he does. It's open. Best thing to do, I find here, is get the best run you can on DRS, get the cleanest corner you can into the chicane, and then accelerate for the second.
Yeah.
Don't try and pass on the first one, basically. Pass on the second one.
Yeah. Oof. Looked like a bit of a interesting moment there with oversteer. Let's go back to the front. We'll keep an eye on the judge there.
Two main battles on track at the moment.
And the vet
It's
is
not the leaders, it just seems like that gap is just, there's a little bit of a cushion compared to what it was. But
now the vet now on the supers. Lap 32.
finally made a pit stop.
You'll go to the end with
Stretched it
these.
to 32 laps?
No. Well done. Good stint there from him. It will bring you in later in the race.
And now I'm wondering if Springbok Gamer got his strategy from DW. They both stretched those ultras to the same lap.
Robbie is in. Trying to cover off the vet. He's going on another set of ultras.
Going on to ultras.
He's got wing damage. He's changing his wing. So he must have made contact with Nismax.
This is going to take long. The gap was 24 seconds, so he should come out
Yeah,
2 or 3 seconds in front.
He's coming onto
The vet coming around now, but this pit stop exit can be tricky.
Yeah, Robbie just keeps in front.
Comes out just ahead of the Renault. Like I said, that pit exit can be tricky. It gives you the impression that another car is in front, but it's...
Definitely, but I don't know if those Ultras will last till the end. I don't think so. My gut says no.
I wonder if that was a mistake from the, well, in the selection process. I wonder if he didn't select the right tyre or...
Yeah.
Because that means he needs to stop again and... well, second or third is definitely still on the cards, but that gap to Nismax is 23 seconds, and if he has to stop again and Nismax doesn't...
Nah, Nismax will definitely have to stop again, but he'll go on to the Ultras as well. But yeah,
he's still got that 23 second. If they both stop, he's still got the 23-second buffer. So
yeah.
Robbie will have to have one hell of a stint on these Ultras.
Well, that changes up things.
Opens up the front, opens up the podium.
It does. It looks like Steffi must have made another stop. He's behind Captain Ice now. But Captain Ice, obviously, with that early stop, let's just have a look. You know, Steffi also stopped, so...
The vet not really being able to challenge for second. Robbie's got a new set of Ultras and he's just burning through. That gap's already come down from 25 seconds to 21 seconds in the space of 2 laps. Yeah, so he's gaining 2 seconds a lap.
The vet had a horse in front of him, he had to pass as well. It cost him a second or two. But yeah, no, I think Robbie really has to stop again. Closing that gap to Nismax,
we could still have an interesting end here.
Yeah.
We're actually on lap 35, so we're on halfway.
The judge doing well, fighting off pit. Actually extended the gap to 3 seconds. Oh yeah, Robbie pumps in a 113.7. So he's on the charge.
At the half race distance, Robbie sets the fastest lap. Well, had this been any other league, the race would have been over. But we still have half a race to go. Still a lot can happen. It's really the second half of the race that really starts to push you. Starts to push your concentration.
Let's have a look at Steffi. He's challenging the Ferrari now.
Something I'd really like to see in real life. Williams challenging a Ferrari.
Yeah. He's obviously got the much fresher tires as well. I think he's also one-stopping. Getting the better exit.
Briefly side by side there.
Robbie goes quicker again.
I think that Williams gets the better exit there.
Yeah, I think he's waiting for this corner in specific, Jonathan, for the exit. Let's try and nail him down the back straight, yeah. Let's go on board with him. Actually losing out a little bit.
The Ferrari just getting the superior traction out of that hairpin.
Yeah, made a bit of a hash of the final chicane there. Steffi had to get off the throttle.
So that gap closes right up again. Just 3/10 now.
We go out of the traction zone of turn 2. Oh, Steffi again had to get off the throttle there.
Just closing the door.
Yeah, good racing between the gents.
Nothing too aggressive, just subtle.
Yeah, no, playing the smart game. You don't want to nick a wing off here now.
No, not at this point. Both these cars are in good positions. Fourth and fifth. Robbie again, fastest
Yeah,
lap,
he's
113.6, flying. That gap's
flying,
gone down
man.
to 16 seconds. That means he's taken 9 seconds in the space of 5 laps. So continuing to take an average of 2 seconds a lap out of Nismax.
I think Steffi's got a good run now. Right on the wing of that Ferrari. It looks like he's carrying a bit more wing actually. He's a bit slow in the straight. Getting way better traction out of the final chicane there. Having a look on the inside. Just bails out of it.
Into the center S's. Went wide at the first corner and got a better run into the second corner. And these two remain just 0.3 of a second. Really on it. This has been close racing for what, 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah.
This is what you want to see, and it's clean.
Yeah. Captain Ice putting that Ferraris right on the right spot of the track to make it difficult.
Brilliant defensive driving, just making it so difficult to get past. Absolutely just planting that car, making it so wide.
To have a look coming into the final chicane again. Steffi definitely
again
the
Williams gains a lot of ground down the straight. Just good racing between these two, keeping it close, corner after corner, lap after lap. Going back to the front, got Nismax leading the race, currently on that set of super softs. But that gap to second, it continues to come down. It's just 12 seconds now. It's actually come down from 25 seconds. He's cut that gap in half.
Yeah.
So they're doing a good job. It could be interesting if they both still have to stop. Robbie could be pretty close to first place by the time they stop.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting. We've got the vet still in third.
Yeah,
sitting 11 seconds adrift of second.
Yeah.
But in clean air, having a quiet race. But looks safe on the podium.
Definitely safe on the podium, but I think if Robbie has to stop, Robbie has to pass him on track to get that second position.
And then fourth is very undecided.
Yeah, it's,
still got this battle going on.
Captain Ice definitely has to stop again. Steffi, I don't think so. I think that's why he's not too aggressive trying to pass him. The judge, yeah, he stopped a couple of times, so I'm also not sure exactly.
To get the most out of those tyres, he does need to pass him then, if that's the case. If you're on the faster tyre but you're sitting behind the slower car, you're not getting the most out of the tyre.
Yeah, definitely. But I think he's playing the long game. Steffi, he's quite intelligent, so he'll know Captain Ice has to stop again, and then I think that will set him free.
Well, that's what the famous man Alan Prost was famous for. They used to call him the professor.
The professor, yeah.
Because if it came down to the last race of the season and he needed 4 points to win the championship, and you needed to finish third to get 4 points, then he'd aim for third. Like he wasn't worried about the win at all. It was all about the championship and all about the points, and they got 4 world championships.
Yep. he's smooth like butter. His driving style. Going on board with him now.
Gap continues to come down. 9.4 seconds now. In the single digits.
Robbie wringing the neck of this Mercedes. Great to see.
We have a request here for the producer to give some focus on the judge again.
Let's go back to the judge then. Oh, he's managed to pull away 15 seconds from Pitt, and Pitt was at a stage right behind him, but I can see Pitt is on the super softs, and I know he was on the soft, so he had to make another stop again. Let's have a look. Yeah, made 3 pit stops.
Well, he's having a good result so far. He was behind his teammate in 8th place earlier on.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, he's 2 places ahead of his teammate. So
a position change. He's jumped 4, together with Captain Ice. That's also jumped 4, but Captain Ice having to stop again. So that will put him well in range of the judge. But of course, the judge, I think he'll have to stop again as well. So yeah, tight racing here in the midfield.
that battle for 4th continues. Briefly side by side down the main straight, heading towards the Senna S's. And that Ferrari just keeps its nose in front for now.
We've got Nismex coming up to lap them as well, just to spice things up a bit.
And that's always a terrible feeling when you're in a battle for position and you see someone coming up to lap you. You know what you have to do, but you don't want to lose time.
No, definitely.
Puts you in a very difficult position. You can see the effect it's had. It's broken up these 2 cars that were together for what, 8-9 laps.
Steffi taking the intelligent route. He let Nismex through, sticking right behind him, hoping to catch Johan off guard. Always a smart ploy. You see now Johan letting Nismex past on
the back straight.
Yeah, not losing much time, so well done to him as well. Oh,
and he comes into the pit.
I was expected.
He comes into the pits.
Well,
These are just a good
let's
clean
see
stop.
where the judge comes out.
Seems like he's serving some sort of penalty.
He's
There's
also
no movement
pitting.
on the car.
So
There they go.
Pitting as well.
So Captain Ice served a penalty on that pit stop. He's going to come out on another set of super softs.
Yeah, these gents going to the end on these tires now.
So everyone on track right now is on super softs, with the exception of the Merc in second.
On ultras.
Robbie is on ultra softs, and that gap is now 4.3 seconds. If they both need to stop again, I think they could be pretty close together when that pit window opens.
Yeah, definitely. The top 2 has to stop, I'm pretty sure.
Which could make for a very interesting final stint.
Yes, especially if the vet can stick his nose in there, which he will. But yeah, we'll see what his pace is like. Obviously they'll have fresh rubber.
Well, if he's on a 1 stop, if it stays the way it is, he should come out in the lead by approximately 6 to 8 seconds.
Yeah.
But he's going to be on the old tyre, so it's going to depend how he can manage that tyre in the final stint. But I think it's still going to be a very interesting race between the top two here. 2.8 seconds now the gap.
Yeah, but Robbie yet to clear Steffi. That's going to be a lap now.
So complete domination here by the top three.
Yeah, you can see the gap from the vet to Steffi, 55 seconds. It's big.
Top three are on the lead lap. Two are on the lead lap. So that gap now, 1.6 seconds. They've gotten through those lap cars. And now it's open.
I think they obviously, if they pit now, they'll make the end comfortably. I think the one is just waiting for the other to trigger the pit stop to see who's gonna try to go for the undercut. So there's a little bit of a chess match going on here.
It's within a second, which means Robbie closed 25 seconds in this stint on this set of Ultrasofts, which is
obviously unforeseen.
That's quite a good run.
That's good. It's also an unplanned stop, obviously, with the wing change, so it compromised him, but fought well to get back in it.
I actually thought it was a mistake at the time, but if he went on to Ultrasofts to close this gap, then that was very quick thinking.
No.
It probably did not come from Jeff.
Right on him now.
Now they're approaching another car. Hopefully they don't put off. It looks like the ghost car of Wes. It is.
Negotiates it quite easily.
They just go through cleanly. I know that even the ghost cars can put you off if it's in the wrong sort of corner or braking point. It can really throw you off a little bit.
Yeah, braking points especially can throw you off quite easily.
Well, now we've got this battle for the lead. 0.3 of a second in it. They come up off the hairpin onto the back straight. Now that Red Bull will just get a tad nervous. It's coming up to the lap. Robbie's teammate.
Fossey, way gets well out of the way. Kudos to him.
Well out of the way. Actually pulls into the pit lane. Pulls into the pit lane. Battle continues. Now these two need to still play it smart. They don't want to get into too much of a battle and lose a wing or...
Yeah, no, but it's been the whole race through. They've been battling. It was clean racing. These guys, they go well.
Robbie really closed that gap of 25 seconds, so I wonder what state those tyres are in, because he must have driven everything they had. Done a few laps on them now.
No,
I think he got those tyres on lap 32, so 16 laps. So if that window is 18 laps to 20 laps, getting close to the end on those tyres.
Yeah, but being the The ultras, you
Probably
get
gonna
into puncher territory, so nah, it's touch and go.
it'll
I
probably
don't,
drop off in the next 3 to 4 laps, I'd say.
definitely. I'll be very surprised, to be honest, if they go to the end on these tires. I really don't think they will. But
Well, we've
like I
still got
say,
21 laps to go. It's
I think
I don't.
depending on Robbie, if he saved some tires, if he's got a fresh set of ultras, he'll jump. Both of them will jump on those. And
That's right,
I'm
because he did start on the super soft.
yeah, and I'm with Nismax only doing the one run in quali 3. I know he saved the extra set, so I know he's got a fresh set of boots there waiting. Well, ultra softs anyway.
Just going down the order, we've got still got all 10 drivers, 11 if you count Wes, but we've got 10
Ooh,
drivers going around the track from 11 that started. So good driving,
good,
not a lot of
yeah.
accidents, no retirements. It's good to see. Well, there
Robbie,
hasn't been an official retirement.
Robbie just
Gav
had
didn't
a little
start and Wes got
sniff. Ooh,
disconnected.
wait, we've got a yellow flag here. It's the judge making a little mistake into the hairpin there. Oh dear, and it looks like he's got major damage on his wing. Hey, bad luck.
And now heading up the straight. At least if you're gonna have damage, it happened in the right place, because you can head right back into the pits.
Yeah. I wonder if he was doing battle with his teammate. Oh,
Fortunately, we missed that.
yeah, I was so captivated by the battle in front. Let's just see where he comes out now. Death
It's on a
Seeker
new
will
front
jump
wing.
him, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there goes Death Seeker.
Set of super softs. You can probably finish the race now on that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Just go to the end. Looks like he's going to come out in 8th. Oh, there's 2 cars coming around.
Yeah, it's actual leaders.
Went over the white line there a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get any sort of penalty for that.
Having a look at the vet. Still keeping it steady. Waiting for the top two to pull into the pits, really.
Unfortunately, I just think that gap is too. It's too much, because they're going to be very close together when they come out of the pit stop.
Yeah.
But his tires are going to be old, so he's not going to have a lot to fight with.
No.
The other 2 will probably come out on sets of ultra softs and just
I'm quite
can't
surprised
really do battle with a set of old super softs.
Robbie still has major pace on those ultras, which is surprising. It's surprising me.
It's that's 20 laps now, because he got that on lap 32.
Okay, yeah.
He got those tires on lap 32.
Yeah, they
So
must be.
Those ultras are flying, and they're 20 laps old.
Yeah. Well, another 18 to go. Yeah.
Also credit to the driver for making them last.
Definitely.
Actually got the man in 7th, Death Seeker. He's going around on a set of softs. So obviously just minimizing some earlier damage.
Yeah, I can see he made 4 pit stops, so he had an eventful race. Definitely, and he's got the judge catching him now. Obviously the judge on fresher, the rubber. On the supers.
You had an eventful race in Canada. But many eventful things have happened in Canada.
Oh,
No,
we've got,
Canada's actually got the record for the longest F1 race
yeah, I remember, I think it was 2013, but
at
just to
just
cut in there,
over 4
Jonathan,
hours.
we've got Robbie in the pits. He's the first one
The Robbie in the pits.
to trigger the pit stops. He'll be looking for the undercut. I'm pretty sure Nizmax
Now
will
it'll be
be looking
interesting
to
to
come
see
in
what
now.
Nizmax is going to do. Is he going to react? Is he going to pit the very next lap?
He's going to have to pit now, because Robbie will get a bit of an undercut now.
Because now he's got that brand new set of Ultra Softs. Nizmax is still on a used pair of Super Softs. He's going to close the 17-second gap.
Coming through the hairpin now, driving onto the back straight.
Just needs to make sure this outlap is spot on clean.
I can see by the telemetry Robbie is catching, so he is getting the undercut. He passes the pits. Is he trying to get to the end on those? Well then.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Nizmax is not pitting. He's continuing.
He's not pitting.
So I think
Well, surely you can see on his telemetry that the gap's coming down. So either he's not pitting, or he's not looking at his times.
Well, 16 laps from the end, 16 seconds gap. Now it's gonna be nip and tuck. I wonder what his tire life is.
We just got to keep a close eye on that gap. 15.2 seconds now.
Pitted on lap
Was 17 initially,
19.
so it has come down 2 seconds in 2 laps. So
I'm just trying to remember
16
when
laps
he
to
pitted.
go.
It was he pitted on the lap 18 or 19 or 20ish. So those tires are.
Surely you can't take those tires to the end.
No, I'm pretty sure he will be able to, but he's gonna be a bit slow. Eh? To keep those tires alive is gonna be a hard job.
Well, that could bring GW into a battle for second.
Possible.
He's just 4 seconds behind Robbie. So if Robbie brings him with him,
Ah, well. Because, well,
fastest
then
lap 112.9.
Nizmax and David doing the same strategy. But David will have better tires at the end. I'm pretty sure about that.
The vet did come in later.
Yeah.
Like you say, I think Nizmax was around lap 18, and I remember the vet stretched them to about lap 20 or 21. So the tires should be slightly better.
Steffi doing a solid job in fourth. Captain Ice also 5th place.
And he is bringing the vet with him.
In the next 2 to 3 laps, Jonathan will cut back to the judge also catching Death Seeker. So that should also be quite interesting.
That gap down now to 3 seconds, so we'll keep an eye on that. Just keeping an eye on the lead for now. Interesting scenario playing out now with the pit stops. And who's taking it to the end? Robbie just putting in the fastest laps, lap after lap.
Yeah, he's enjoying that
And
ultras now. Getting to lap traffic, getting through cleanly.
just for the time being, it seems like Nizmax is safe from DW. He's not really gaining anymore, seems to be falling back from Robbie. He's losing 2 seconds in the last 3 or 4 laps.
Oh, we've got Salva doing donuts.
The Salva sideways, luckily ghosted at the right time. That could have ended in disaster.
Yes, indeed.
But like I've said before, even if it's a ghost, it can just put you off for that little bit.
Yeah, the vet's heart was in his mouth there, I can tell you that much.
And you can see the little, maybe half a second distraction as that gap goes up to 7 seconds.
And this makes keeping a solid pace, trying to get Robbie to blunt his tires by the time he reaches him. Got a 5-second stop-go penalty for Captain Ice pulling into the pits. That will promote Springbok Gamer and Death Seeker, I'm pretty sure.
Just looking at the standings as they are now, I just feel that Robbie's in the strongest position. He's closing that gap, and
he is.
Surely that leader's laps or the leader's tires are really in a state.
But to
and then you've got to start to
man,
look after the tires. You've got to start worrying about punctures and.
Yeah, that's a problem this Max is going to face.
But you start getting a little bit more tentative on the brakes, and it all plays in, and it slows you down even more.
To quote the great man himself, Jonathan, catching is one thing, passing is another.
Passing is quite another. Yes, that is Murray Walker. Catching is one thing and passing is quite another. Of course, Murray Walker commentated before DRS.
Very true.
I don't know how much he would be in favor of DRS.
Yeah, I don't think he's probably cringing.
And I have a few words that I will not share with you, because I'm sure everybody knows what they are from James Hunt. What he would say, and that's what he would say about DRS.
You can just say it, Jonathan. It's absolute bullshit.
It's bullshit. We've got Death Seeker now getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
Must be corner
Must
cutting.
be for corner cutting.
Yeah, he's trying to catch up to Captain Ice, but Captain Ice on a fresh set of Ultras, also gaining on Springbok Gamer, so that's another battle to look for. The judge just stalling a bit at 3 seconds, trying to chase down.
Was it 3 seconds? It's up to 3.5 now. So just stagnating a little bit. Gap at the front continues to come down. Just 5 seconds now.
5 seconds, 10 and a bit laps to go.
Well, the way he's going, I'd say in the next 3 laps, they'll be visually racing.
Yeah. He's trying to see sector times from his best.
It's still very safe there in that 3rd place, just maintaining that gap.
Now, Robbie half a second down on his best, so those tires are blunting. He's taking the best out of it now.
Obviously pushing, you know, driving as if it was a qualifying session, and it's just taking everything out of them.
Drive it like
because he also wants to finish on those ultras. Race control gives the judge a 5-second stop-go penalty, ignoring a blue flag.
Yeah, that's for Nizmax just passing him now. So that will put those are always unfortunate penalties. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a terrible part of the track and you can't get out of the way, and sometimes it's a bit more unforgiving than others.
Yeah, to be fair, he's jumped 2 spots from where he started, so still good drive from the judge. And then the big winner
in the points again.
The big winner out of everybody is the other horse of Ati, Springbok Gamer, jumping 4 spots.
Yeah, he's pretty much popped into 5th without either of the commentators actually noticing. He's
like a thief in the night, Jonathan.
No, that's
obviously.
Darkwing Duck. Which means
Also
that's why we're
quiet
still waiting.
race.
They're still not waiting to what's it.
Gap down to
You know,
2.5 seconds now.
The strangest strategies. Sometimes it gets them banned.
Oh, indeed.
Gap at the front now. Under 2 seconds. 1.8 to be exact. So it's going to be a battle. 9 laps to go.
Yep, definitely.
Still a lot can happen. And both of them will probably be on aging tires. Because Robbie's had to push to close that gap.
Just spotting on the side there, forcing pitting. So look how many, it's his third pit stop.
Still not a bad result for the Renault driver in third place.
No, definitely
Switching
not.
off all assists for tonight.
Yeah,
So it's not a bad performance.
definitely not. Still looking for his first win in a while, but he'll get there.
They had a combination of bad luck and technical difficulties.
Robbie really on the case of Nismex now.
Really close at the front here now.
Just go on board with Robbie, see what the straight line speed is like. He's gaining, but not enough. That Renault really got good straight line speed, that Red Bull.
Goes now into the second DRS zone. Just snaking around. Decides to stay beyond.
Yeah, no, Nismex doing a good job of positioning that Red Bull. He has done the whole race, to be fair.
Now with 7 laps to go, and these two battling out bring third place closer to close that gap. 14 seconds, 7 laps to go. Looks just a bit too big.
No, a bit too big, but if
Hopefully
these
we
two
don't have
come
any late
together,
punches.
you never know. Oh, Robbie having a dive on the inside at the hairpin. Gets the better exit, it looks like. No, Nismex.
This match gets the better exit, better traction, coming up to a car now. I
Taking a
believe it's the
defensive
ghost
line
car.
on the inside. Robbie on the outside. Oh, side by side. Oh, Robbie has to cut.
Robbie's
Yeah,
going to come off second best there.
that could have been very aeroplane crash, as they would say, across the pond.
Goes to the inside, Nismax closes the door.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Closes the door again, nicely done.
This is a
Very good
battle
defensive
now.
driving now, coming up to the ghost car. And they go through without any issues.
I can tell you this much, Jonathan. Robbie is sick of that Red Bull signage on the rear wing of that Red Bull.
Yeah, no, I think after the race he's going to drink anything else. Anything except Red Bull.
Good on the gentleman, having a humdinger of a battle. Loving this.
Fantastic battle up front. And in contrast to the race we had last week, in the rain with the huge gaps,
Yeah.
this is what we want to see on circuit. We want to see close racing and questioning the result with 6 laps to go.
Just want to have a look at them through the first sector and then just quickly cut to Captain
Robbie
Ice.
again pulling side by side. Nizmax closes the door into the right-hander, and they stay the same for now.
Still got good traction on those aging super softs. Really did well to keep those tires alive. Well, alive enough to keep Robbie behind him. He's got just enough pace out of the traction zones to give the Merc
He
grey
is getting fantastic traction.
Ooh,
You see it
Robbie
happen, and out of that final chicane. So
keep with them through the hairpin, yeah. And then quickly cut to Captain Ice, which is 2/10 of Springbok Gamer. Robbie having a look on the inside.
watching leaders now, they go into the final chicane, and Robbie, they were side by side, but Robbie backed out.
Yeah, you had to. Let's have a look here at Captain
And they
Ice
remain the same.
Ferrari.
I think his best chance is right here into turn 2.
Going into 3 possibly, yeah. Because
Get
he needs Nizmax to
Get
run
it.
wide there, because Nizmax is putting his car exactly in the right spot into turn 2 the whole time.
Then he needs to try and change his line into that first corner and get a better exit.
Yeah,
But
go
he needs to
bit
try
wider.
something different, because at the moment Nizmax is just putting that car exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, to
Now really getting close together.
absorb this
That
much pressure.
Mercedes nose is right on the gearbox.
Here we go, dive bomb on the inside, keeps it nice and clean. Nizmax with
And-
the traction out.
Squirms on the exit, and again the Red Bull traction.
Brilliant, brilliant.
That Merc just squirmed on the exit of the hairpin, and very
Yeah,
nicely done.
Robbie goes in
Another
tighter,
lap.
and then Nizmax goes out wider and gets the better traction or the better run out of the corner. Here's where he has to
Started lap
change.
67 now.
Okay, Nizmax putting that car exactly where he needs to. A masterclass defensive drive here from him.
Absolutely fantastic. You must remember that those tyres are obviously not in a good state right now.
No.
And it's one thing to drive defensively, but to drive defensively when your car is handicapped
Yep.
is it's a very different story. Well, Robbie now again just briefly pulling side by side.
Ooh, Robbie goes for the
And
dive bomb now.
there's
Looks he's got him.
contact.
Slight push. But he had to. He had to. Can Nizmax come back?
There was contact. If he's going to get him back, he's going to have to get him back now, because personally I think Robbie is quicker.
Yeah.
Get a good line through the chicane, activate DRS for the second time.
Robbie's got the DRS, remember.
Robbie's got the DRS because they went over the line before the pass.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Nizmax
Jonathan.
loses out there, and that gap opens up to just under a second.
On the second to last lap, we got Robbie passing Nizmax, and I think that's all she wrote, Jonathan.
Absolutely. Now that gap staying within a second, it's not over yet.
No, he's keeping it in there.
I'm
Trying
sure
to give some
I'm
pressure.
sure those ultra softs are also not in premium condition.
The vet also 12 seconds adrift, not far away. Doing a good job in third place.
Now, is there a twist at the end? They're approaching traffic. Even if it's unintentional, we know it can stir things up.
Yeah.
But
Especially
that
if
gap's
drivers
almost
are
up to 2 seconds now, so 2 laps to go.
coming up to dead stick and he's trying to catch up to Springbok Gamer.
Just got to keep his head when he overtakes these cars, and if it's not the right time, wait for the next corner.
No.
Don't do anything silly.
Dead
But
stick
he's
getting well out of the way there. Well done.
gone through pretty easily. Didn't seem to be affected. Didn't seem to drop any speed. See if Nismax can get through. I'm sure Christian Horner is on the phone to Toro Rosso and saying, get out the way.
Yeah, no, easy as you like. Right through there. Ooh, Captain Ice with another 3-second penalty.
Or multiple warnings. So, one
Yeah,
of that
and
probably.
he's trying to fight off Atti, because Atti is only a second away. So obviously under pressure. Let's have a look. So penalties can still jumble up the order when we cross the line.
Haven't really been calculating the penalties, so I can't tell you right now how it's going to affect the result. We're going to have to wait until everyone crosses the line, but I think there could still be a shake-up of positions here in the midfield.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I've seen many penalties flash across my screen.
We'll just follow Robbie. It goes to the hairpin onto the final straight on his last lap. We're having a little look at the horse there. Atti. Leaving
Just
nothing
running
on the
away
table.
at the end, gap up to 4 seconds.
Well done, Robbie.
Gonna go over the line.
Crosses the
And
line
that's
for
another win in TnB.
second win in 2 weeks.
Nicely done.
Man on red
Nicely
hot form.
done.
Nismax also. Good race. After disappointing
Max
result
Thomas
last week.
through in second.
Well, humdinger of a race. Well done,
And the
gentlemen.
Reynolds of the Vet just coming through in third. Good race.
Solid podium. You'll be
Solid
happy with
performance.
that.
Kept it clean throughout, and you'll be happy with the podium. You'll be happy with the points, and you'll be happy with that he didn't get a DC.
Definitely. Steffi also in a solid P4. Didn't race last week. So you'll be happy with that. Definitely. Solid race from the Williams driver.
Just waiting for Captain Ice to come through in fifth. 6th, 7th and 8th have already finished.
Atti keeping within the 3 seconds, so I'm pretty sure you'll be able to jump him with the penalty Captain Ice has got, unfortunately for the Ferrari driver.
It will be interesting to see if these positions scramble before our eyes.
Now we'll have a look now and get confirmation. It shows 5th on the screen here for the moment. Now there's your podium, Jonathan. Robbie P1 celebrating Mercedes victory. The Red Bull and the Renault beside him. You'll be happy with that. Spraying the champagne.
I think next week Red Bull might have a shortage of parts from Renault.
Yeah, very possible. But well done to those 3 gentlemen there. And now Captain Ice hangs on to 5th position because of Springbok Gamer also having a penalty. But solid drives there. You want to run through the order there, Jonathan?
Just going through the order, Robbie. Obviously winning the race. Running a good race. Nismax second. De Vet with a solid performance in third. pretty much a lonely race. Staffy in 4th, Captain Ice 5th, Springbok Gamer 6th, Death Seeker in 7th. Got the Horse of the Judge in 8th, Pitbullis in 9th, and Fossey rounding up the top 10, taking the final championship point. So, Merc getting an extra point.
Well done.
Nicely done. And we'll be in Silverstone next week for round 9.
Definitely. I don't know if
Same
you want to
place,
get the
same time.
gentleman in here, maybe just for a quick chat. The top 3 there.
You wanna try get Robbie Nizmax and the vet in here?
I know the vet is in here already. I don't know if you want to just invite Nizmax and Robbie. See if they want to have a word with us. I'll just activate the stream here on my side just to make sure that they come through on sound.
Just wanna find out where they are.
But we'll start with the 3rd place podium driver, TnB DW. How was that? Yeah, indeed.
Wazzy, you're gonna have to invite them from your side because it's your party
Okay,
and it's locked.
I'll try that. I'm not sure if the vet is coming through on the stream either. The vet, just mention a word there, please. I'm not sure if the vet is coming through on the stream either. The vet, just mention a word there, please. I'm not sure if the vet is coming through on the stream either. Yeah, unfortunately we're having some issues here. You're not coming through on the stream, unfortunately. I don't know why, to be honest.
Well,
But
we'll
yeah,
work on that and we'll have it ready for the next race.
anyway, good race, gents. But anyway, let's sign off, Jonathan. It was a pleasure commentating with you, my friend.
It was a pleasure, and we'll be back next week Friday at Silverstone
Oh,
for
yes,
round 9.
definitely.
TnB.
If we had
Season
something
3.
similar to this race, we're in for another humdinger.
Absolutely.
Okay. Cheers. Thanks for everybody
Cheers,
viewing.
guys.
We'll see you next week. Not yet, not yet.